gonna be bad if a diesel comes by.
Be part of the experience. All right. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background and what you do?
My name is Lauren Kenzie. I'm from California, and what I do is I make content, ride horses, and just do social media stuff for now. And I go to school full time.
So you make like just outdoor like horse content or
Basically, like I'll video me like riding. I'll video like what I do for my horse and kind of like what supplements to give him, and I just kind of do whatever I feel like doing for that day.
I didn't know you were in school either. Like what are you going to school for?
I'm going to school for ag business and computer science.
Those two seem like total opposites.
I know. My family's in the ag industry, and then my mom forced me into computer science when I was like in 7th grade. I even was like the other day, I didn't even know how to turn on my computer because it said like the little button was saying it was on, and I was trying to press it and it still wasn't turning on, and I sat there for 20 minutes hoping it would turn on.
What inspired you to pursue your current career or passion? Just
It's a
kind of
hard
happened?
one. Yeah, it just kind of happened. Like it just kind of dropped the ball one day. I feel like I'm that type of person that has different like inspirations every single day, and like
So you're ADD?
yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
So I'm like 5 different things are lined up, and I want to do all 5 of those things.
Yeah, sounds about right. That's exactly what I do. Could you share a pivotal moment or experience that shaped who you are today?
Taking care of my grandparents. I was telling you this earlier. Is like taking care of my grandma for like the last 4 years of her life. Same with my grandpa, and just putting. They lived in our house for the last 2.5 years of their life, and that was a big turning point in my life. Taking care of somebody else and just putting others before yourself and having your priorities straight. And I turned down like a lot of opportunities, I feel like, but I feel like those have made me more of a better person.
Are you an only
More.
child?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you had any siblings that helped you out? So I'm guessing your parents were working and then you kind of helped your grandparents out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was the only child, and I was, while they were at work, I was there. If they went to like business meetings, whatever, I was there. And if I had to go to school or something, my dad was there, obviously, or one of my parents were there. But it was somebody constantly at the house, someone constantly having to take care of her.
But I'm guessing y'all didn't want to put them in a home or anything?
Yeah. We see how some
yeah.
homes are.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the healthcare system that we have, and those people actually, like, I don't think they're certified nurses a lot of the time. Like things like an LVN.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Canceled for saying that, and you got the healthcare workers on your butt.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done. First podcast, and it's over with. What are some of the things you enjoy most about your work or your hobbies?
My work
or hobbies?
Hobbies. Just having fun with it. I always just have fun with it. Even if it's like a really rough day, I just have fun with it. And it's just something, like, especially with my hobbies, I just go out, like, riding. I always ride. You always see me riding. And that's just something I go and do just to better my mental health, because I feel like I never take care of it, and I'm always go, go, go with my ADD.
What's your relationship with your horse?
Love him.
Is it like, so I've never owned a horse, but I've ridden horses, but like, I just have dogs. But like, for me, like, my dogs are my family. Like, I mean, my dogs are also like really smart. They're golden doodles. And like my oldest one, when she looks me in the eyes, she is looking me in the eyes. And if she could talk, she could talk. And I have to be careful with what I do and how I say things, because I know she hears me. I know she understands. Like, is it similar with a horse, like the relationship?
Definitely. When he knows he did something wrong, he'll kind of like jump a little bit, because like I'll start, like, obviously, like when you're riding, I call it gut checking. So if they like do something wrong, either like gut check them with like your heel, or like I'll turn him around like to make him like, no, he did something wrong, because horses learn off pressure and release. And once like he knows I'm about to turn him around and do it, he'll just stop immediately. He's like, oh, I know I'm in trouble. Or if I'm about to feed, he's just like looking at me. He's like, okay, give me my food. And then he'll just like look at me and say, are you gonna hurry up? Or if he knows like I'm about to either turn him out, ride him, literally anything, he knows. And he like knows like my attitude also. If I'm going out to the ranch and I'm in a good mood, he's like perfectly calm, he's good. If I'm like really anxious about something, or I'm like upset about something, he knows that too. And I feel like we have that connection that he knows.
Do you feel like, your hobby is actually just kind of connecting with your horse a lot of the time? Not necessarily just like out riding, but just being with your horse?
And he knows when I'm upset, especially when like I come out late at night. Sometimes I go out to the ranch late at night. He knows it's like, oh, mom's going through something. She needs me. Day. Yeah. So he'll just lay on the ground sometimes. Like he'll be laying down, and I'll just like come up to him, and I'll just like lay with him, like on him. And I'll have like my back towards him, and I'm just petting him, and he just lays there. and I'll just like start ranting about something. Like,
Oh, you talk to your horse?
I'm crazy.
In light of recent events or trends, how has your field or industry evolved, and what are your thoughts on these changes?
Oh
So,
God.
for simple terms, like you're in the creator space now.
Yeah.
You're in the Western and outdoor industry.
Mm-hmm.
The last few years, especially COVID, post-COVID, you know, at least for me, I've seen a huge change in the industry as well. But like, what have you seen in the industry that has like really changed in the last few years?
People's attitude towards it. I feel like people's attitude has changed from before COVID to after COVID, like in the community. Because I didn't know there was a thing called an influencer until after COVID.
Okay.
So I didn't think like, I thought like YouTube. You watch these like YouTubers, and we called them YouTubers. And like my entire life, I was like, oh, these YouTubers, they're at like VidCon or whatever. I never heard of a Western influencer, but I looked up to like Fallon Taylor, JB Mooney, all of them, and I just thought, oh, they're just pro rodeo athletes. That's all I thought. I never thought of an influencer. From after COVID to now, I've seen a lot of people's attitude change towards it. There's more selfishness, there's more like sourness towards it. I feel like there's a lot of fakeness now, but also you have those genuine people too. And I feel like a lot of the truth and like a lot of people's personalities are coming out more. The genuine people are getting recognized more, and then the people who aren't as nice or as not as good characteristics or morals are kind of losing it. That's kind of bad to say though.
No, honestly, it's not, because I kind of feel the same way. So during COVID, I feel like a lot of people, you know, were home. They started, like, a lot of us were already trying to become influencers at the time. Post-COVID, I mean, prior to COVID, I just started posting to TikTok, and then all of a sudden, I gained 100,000 followers in the first 3 months. So, like,
Dang.
me personally, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is it. This is finally my thing. This is where I'm gonna get the outreach, you know. And then COVID happened, and everybody decided to become an influencer.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily niche down, but I stay in the outdoor realm. And what I've seen over the last few years is a lot of hype during COVID, and a lot of people who just built large followings, and then post COVID, I see a lot of people falling off.
Yeah.
Not necessarily falling off for any particular thing that they did. They're doing the same kind of content, but people don't really want to just be entertained anymore.
Yeah.
You know, during COVID, a lot of people wanted like dancing and like funny antics, and it was a lot about entertainment because you were bored.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people went back to work, and I see a lot more people looking for not only community, like they want to connect with other people within a certain niche or group, you know. And I see a lot of people looking for knowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of people just want, like, they want to get something out of the time that they spend there per day, because they're not spending 10 hours per day anymore.
Yeah.
They're spending 2 or 3. So like you see these people who were doing dance videos and stuff like that really kind of losing ground, especially with some of the brand deals and things like that. And then these other people who don't have the followings like me, I put out like certain particular content that provides a value back to somebody, and I'm seeing a real change in the way people are consuming their content that way.
I agree with that, especially like on TikTok. So much is like going on TikTok right now. There's so much drama. I will go on TikTok for maybe like 5 minutes to look up something, because I'm that person who doesn't use Google. If I need to like learn something, I'll go on TikTok.
Most people do. It's actually it's like, I forgot what the statistics were the other day, but like people are using TikTok more than they are Google.
Yeah.
Like it's become a search engine more than it has like a content. And like that's where my premise is people are going to TikTok for information.
Yeah.
Like, all the people I follow here lately have been people who like, oh, they put out some really good information. I'm gonna follow them. Like, I want to know more about that stuff. You know, like people's time is very valuable, and I feel like a lot of influencers haven't adapted to that at all.
I feel like with some of the people I follow now, I feel like it's just horse trainers at this point. It's like all the horse trainers like I love and watch, and then there's like a bunch of them on Instagram. I follow like a bunch of horse ranches, and they all of the things that I follow now is just educational to me, because I don't know. It was like I haven't owned a horse in like for myself since 2020. I didn't know what supplements to give. I didn't know anything. I just knew what I was told when I was younger, and then that was it. That was just point blank. Never used anything this like different. And I was like, okay, let's branch out. Let's see what other options are, more natural ways, instead of just supplementing the crap out of your horse from Tractor Supply. So I went on TikTok and Instagram and to see like, okay, what supplements or what vitamins should my horse be getting? And I looked at these $500,000 barrel horses, some like jackpot rodeo horses or jackpot horses that are like getting fed just like spices and stuff that humans would eat. And I'm like, oh, that's so much easier than spending $100 at Tractor Supply for like to get extra crap in it and extra
Yeah,
unnecessary
actually,
stuff in it.
talking to Roy and Nick, they were talking about horse feed one day, and I formulated my own supplements before, so I know a little bit about what goes into it. But I didn't know, like, there's so much things that you can't give horses that ends up popping a drug test or something like that. But it's actually natural and found in nature, but like it's even stricter on horses than it is on people when it comes to certain competitions.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that. But just like you said, like that's something else that I've seen in this genre TikTok here lately in the last few years is like people who normally wouldn't start a YouTube channel for stuff like that will start a TikTok.
Yeah.
So people talking about that, or like the chicken feed thing that happened last November. Don't cancel me if I say something about that either. Okay. We all know what happened with Purina and the chicken feed.
And you're getting canceled 2023.
It's real, and we know about it. I don't even feed my dogs Purina dog food anymore. But that is something that door is open for people. Is like it's quick, it's fast, it's easy content. People don't feel so pressured to start a YouTube channel, but they'll start a TikTok channel, and it's really good information.
It is, and it's short, simple, to the point. And I hate when I'm like on Google and it has like this big like 10-page long information about it. I'm like, no, like just give me benefits, cons, just give it to me straight. I don't need to hear the whole.
I hate Google. Not only is ChatGPT my best friend, but then TikTok too. Like when I want to know something, the last thing I do is go to Google. We don't consume content the same way we don't search for shit anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to search for 10 fucking blogs and I have to look through all these blogs. And like I'm having to search for an answer that is like not even on the second page of Google. And I'm like, just give me the one little thing I need. Like this is gonna get a little technical, but like I was trying to create a PDF form the other day and I just needed to know what the JavaScript was for a text form field.
Yeah.
I typed that in, you would think, hey, what is the text form field for a PDF in Adobe? I get all the questions answered, blog, everything around that answer, but not the actual answer. I go to ChatGPT, I ask it, it tells me and then gives me the code to copy and paste.
Yep.
Google, you're out. You're done. That's one thing that TikTok I love about it is like people that normally wouldn't get on YouTube and start a full channel will get on TikTok and start, and it's really good information. And like I feel like that's something that's really changed in the last few years, and a lot of influencers haven't accepted that yet.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Because the original TikTok hype was dances and all this stuff and like
being funny
or like I know a lot of people that just started kind of on meme pages, you know, and it's like that was cool during COVID, but we were all so bored. But like people aren't bored anymore.
To watch.
They're not bored anymore and they want information. You know.
Yeah, and I feel like I want to kind of get more into like the educational realm of it. I just don't. But like I kind of steal, like I don't steal. Hold on, that's bad to say. I steal. Like I take repurpose and reuse other people's like ideas. So, and I feel like that's the same like in the content world and like the social media industry. We kind of like reuse all the same thing. Like some person uses one method A, some person uses method B. The third person will use A and B together. So like I kind of do that too. That's what I do.
So I'll take a trend that I find and then I make it my own.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of doing the exact same kind of trend, I might add a little extra flair or like do a little bit more over the top. You know, like that's one thing I was known for in the very beginning of me making content. Like it was nothing for me to drive 30 minutes across town and wait an hour in line to go film this part at like a film festival or something like. I would go that extra mile, just like the beer poster challenge. I should have won the beer poster challenge, by the way. Best. TikTok, you're a hater, and I dislike you for that one. That was going to be my viral video. I had 300 shares in the first hour.
Did you really?
I had 300 shares in the first hour. I went all the way to Galveston, which is an hour and a half. Drove down there, did the full shoot on a beach in a onesie with a mullet and everything. Had the poster made at Walgreens. I mean, I went through the steps.
I wonder what the Walgreens workers thought about when they printed that.
They were laughing. They were laughing so hard. Like we have it in storage. It's a full 3x2 foot poster of me in a bikini from my wife. When she woke up, she would sleep the night before. I'd hung it above her dresser. Like it was. But TikTok.
What did she say about that one?
Oh, she laughed. She was like, "Oh my god!" But like that's kind of stuff I used to be known for. But because TikTok took it down for adult nudity. But like the other day, I saw some girl breastfeeding on TikTok Live. Like it's okay.
What?
Yeah, but I show a little bit of side butt cheek, and I was like taken down. And then Instagram, it did all right, but like that's the stuff I enjoy doing, but I always get taken down. I just like I just give up. What are some challenges or obstacles you faced in your journey, and how have you overcome them?
Like the social media, or just in life?
Just in life. Just do both. Like what are some obstacles you've faced so far in becoming a content creator?
content creator, I feel like people telling you can't do it. And I think that's the same with life too. Like, I feel like my entire life, this is gonna sound so bad. The people in my hometown aren't the nicest. And I was not the most liked. And people would always say, oh, she's never gonna make it. She's not gonna do anything with her life. She's not gonna do whatever, and just talk shit. And that's all they did. That's my entire hometown. They just talk shit. No offense to anybody who's from there, but that's what they do. And I feel like when somebody, my mindset has changed obviously, but now when someone tells me I can't do it, I'll be like, I can do it 10 times harder now. And that kind of motivates me now. So I feel like back then it was an obstacle. Now it's kind of fueling my drive, especially with content creating too. When some people are like, oh, why is she becoming a content creator? Like, that's stupid, or that's not going to get you anywhere. We just got back from Texas. That was the coolest experience ever. Met so many new people. Finally got to meet you after, what, a year and a half of knowing each other?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Like, it was the coolest experience ever, and I was so grateful for it. And the people, like, when I got back, everyone's like, wow, she actually went to Yee Day. She actually got invited. I'm like, yeah, because I worked my ass off for it. And you guys told me no, and I told you I'm going to do it 10 times better.
It's funny that you say that, because, like, a lot of people that I meet all have, like, a similar drive, and it's same to me. Like, I grew up super poor. Like, no central AC and heat. Me and my brothers, 2 other brothers shared a 10 by 10 room. Like, I didn't have central AC and heat until I was a sophomore in high school.
Dang.
Yeah, like, I grew up super poor. So, like, at 15, I went to work 40 hours a week because I wanted nicer clothes for school. So I had to go work for it. And all my life, I've had to work for what I wanted because it was never given to me. And then my dad was actually a millionaire and lived right down the road, but, like, we didn't have any relationship just because, I'm not even going to say no offense because of offense. He's an asshole. You know, and so that's kind of always been in the back of my head as fuel for the drive. And then I joined the military out of need, not necessarily want. I had friends that were gung ho. I just, like, I'm poor. College is expensive. I tried that. I got a pole vaulting scholarship, and then I realized college wasn't really my thing. I knew it wasn't going to be. Got a really good job when I got back from the military, and then spent a few years making money doing dumb decisions. And then around 25, I was like, you know what? I just want to do something different. You know, I want to do something different. So I started bodybuilding. And I worked shift work, which if anybody's ever worked shift work, it's really, really rough on your body.
What
so
is that?
I would work 4 nights. I'd be off for 4 days, and I'd go back and work 4 days.
Oh, okay.
4 and 4, but it's 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
4 in the morning to 4 in the evening. I mean, it was like rotating. So
Jeez.
like every 4 days I was off, but every 4 days I'd swap from nights back to days. And everybody told me I couldn't do it. And I was always the smallest of all my friends. Everybody talked shit, you know, and I was like, you know what? Spent 4.5 years. And the next thing I know, I'm home for Christmas one day, and usually everybody comes home to my small town, and like I just get the whole, bro, you're fucking huge, and I'm like,
that shock.
That shock. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I am, but like I've been in 3 fights my whole life. I don't fight, you know. I like my face, and I'm not coordinated that way. But after that, it just I want to say bodybuilding really set the tone for like everything I decided to do moving forward because 4.5 years of hard ass, like I have Excel spreadsheets of everything I ate for 4.5 years.
Dang.
Like a bodybuilding competition is 12 weeks of preparation.
Yeah.
And if you screw up even like one meal and within that last 2 to 3 days, it can screw your whole time up. Like you get 30 seconds. You spend 12 weeks to get 30 seconds on stage.
Yep.
And it's you versus 200 other people. Like that mental, like I can't even tell you the mental battle like you fight losing on a competition stage to people next to you. It's insane. And like you're dehydrated and everything else. Well, then people told me that I make too much money. I was making about $100,000 a year. There's no way I could do something on the side that would take me to do something else. And then working in the chemical plants, they try to keep you there. They try to drown you. They want to like stay in the past. And I'm like, I want to move to the future. What's next? What's coming up? And like, I feel like people have always told me you can't do that. Then I do it, and it's like, oh shit! Like, hey, can you write me a diet plan? Man, like, how'd you do it? Like, literally every single time I did something, you know. Next thing I know, like, I started getting my TikTok count up, and I had a friend of mine who told me video was stupid. Next thing I know, hey man, can you show me how to edit a video? You know, like, and it's every single time I've made that milestone, but like people don't understand the amount of fucking work. Even influencers, like we talked about it a minute ago, like. How much work is it to post on every single platform every day? Like, oh, it's just a post. I'm like, it's more like it's writing the captions, it's setting the picture right, is it squared right, is it match the way it flows on your Instagram? Like, people don't take that into consideration, and it's like, it is a lot of work.
Yeah, and it takes time out of your day too. Like you could be doing like hanging out with your friends, but instead you're making content and you're putting yourself out there to get either brand deals, sponsorships, whatever, making money.
Right.
or making.
Because a lot of people don't
contracts.
realize that becoming an influencer, you are a marketing billboard. That's
Mhm.
all it is. Influencer is social media marketing, and like some people offer value for the content, etc. Like there's all different forms, but like at its base core, it's marketing. And people don't realize that, yesterday I spent an hour repurposing content to get it posted. Not even like making the content. It was like I was getting it repurposed, make sure it's done correctly, scheduling the times, getting it all optimized, and like it is a lot of work. And then when you start like nowadays, when people ask me shit, I'm like, you can't do it.
Mhm.
I straight up tell them you can't do it, and they're like, well, you did it. I'm like, I'm crazy. Like, there's no way to explain what I do. I work 18 hours a day every day. I will drink as much coffee as it takes because in the back of my head, like, no amount of rest for me, and this is just me. Like, I don't advise this at all. Is worth me losing out on an opportunity to better myself.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the times when I was working in the chemical plants, it was an hour drive to work and back. So I spent 14 hours a day, gone. Like, do that 1 hour drive. My phone's up on my dash. I'm watching YouTube videos on how to advertise or how to do this. Like,
that's what I've been doing more. What you told me like I need to educate myself more and like watch videos and watch what other people do and kind of just like go on YouTube and like search up everything. Anything you have a question of, just look it up. And I was listening to a podcast about how like influencers, like what's good, what's bad, like how you to market yourself, how to talk to other people better. And like I just been doing that because I've been traveling a lot more. And I love it. I love traveling.
That's why I do it, honestly, with TikTok. Like, people ask me, oh, you see this, you see that? I'm like, no, I didn't see that. Like, I spend 10 or 15 minutes on TikTok a day, I swear. Like, I will post and do all my comments and do all my stuff. But then what I have done is I go in, and if I see too much BS on my For You page, I go in the search bar and I'm typing up advertising stuff or AI search for product management or like next thing I know. So what I've done is curated my TikTok algorithm so good that when I get on for 10 or 15 minutes, I get useful information every single day. And I don't have time to look it up then. I'll save it to my phone usually because I'm like, if this is really good information, TikTok's probably going to take it down. So as I hate
TikTok doesn't want you to
there's nothing worse than going into your saved videos and then seeing the gray.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, like that was a good video. Like I needed to know how to become a real citizen, but like, so I'll save it to my phone and then I'll go look it up later. And I am 100% confident that TikTok has, I don't know, furthered my education by 4 to 5 years in the last year.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I feel like I've learned a lot more from TikTok than I've had in school, to be honest. And like, I don't know why that's so bad. Like, I don't know, that's so bad to say, but at the same time, I'd rather be educated than sit in a classroom for like 6 hours, 6 months, 6 years to learn the same thing I can learn in like a minute video or 3-minute video.
What I have realized is that the people that don't deal with things very well have not experienced enough life. So like you at a young age, had to take care of your grandmother. Like most people your age are not taking care of another person. Like there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And me personally feel like you handle certain situations a lot more maturely and differently because you've already dealt with the stress. Like it's not that big a deal to you. It's like when something happens, somebody freaks out and you're like, why are you freaking out? It's not that big a deal. It's because they haven't dealt with that kind of stress before. And me personally, I've dealt with so much to the point that people look at me like, how are you still walking and alive? That literally nothing phases me anymore.
Yeah, nothing phases me. Even like when I am stressed, like I get stressed about things obviously still, but I'm not gonna sit in my room and cry about it, or I'm not gonna be sitting like in my room being anxious about it. No, I'm gonna go do something to make it better. Or go better myself instead of just sitting in my room going, oh, poor old pitiful me, and throw myself a pity party.
Right. And like, I feel like an asshole sometimes when people like freak out about something and I'm like, it's not that big a deal. Or like, well, you don't care about my feelings. I go, no. No. Like, and then I explain to them like what I do on a daily basis. And then like their eyes get real big or their jaw drops. Like I'll never forget a friend of ours, rest his soul. He passed about 2 months ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's, we don't know the total details, but it was like, it was an accident. That's all we're being told. So I'm not really sure what the details were. But like, I remember he worked an 8-hour job and like I was still doing my thing, working 12 hours, go to the gym afterwards. So like when I get home, like I've already had a 15, 16-hour day. And then I'm spending time working on my business. Because at one time, so my wife was working straight nights at the hospital. I'm working shift work. We had a vending machine business that we operated together. She had her bakery business that she operated. And then I had my fishing apparel.
Yeah.
So we had 3 businesses between the 2 of us plus full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And explaining this to my friend, and then he was like, he literally complained about something that he didn't have time to do something after work one day. And I was like, how many hours a day do you work? You come straight home after work? He goes, yeah. I go, what do you do when you get home? Mainly just smoke weed and watch TV. I'm like, and I explained to him my day, and he literally was like, I never heard him say another thing about it again.
Yep.
And it's like, people don't realize that, like, I don't even know the term for it, but like, you're capable of so much more than you limit your mind to.
I agree. I didn't think I was going to be able to take care of my grandma when I was a senior in high school. Never even thought about it. And I did it. And it's made me a better person today. I feel like it has.
What's crazy is, like, not that long ago, people had full families at 18.
Yeah.
At 18, it was almost weird for you not to be married with 2 kids already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like nowadays, and you'd be lucky if the person's fully mature by the time they get out of high school.
Yeah.
Or college, let alone.
Yeah. The dating world now is so weird.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I wouldn't even want to date in today's world.
It's so weird.
Me and my wife actually met on TikTok. Not
Really?
TikTok. I'm sorry. Don't. Oh, she's gonna kill me on that one. Tinder.
Really?
Yeah, we did the whole Tinder like photo shoot thing too for like our engagement photos and everything. But like, yeah.
Did she say, I'm glad I swiped right?
It said we're a match. It had like the whole little
Oh.
face thing that, you know, you get your face in, like, and then it had the date that we swiped and all that stuff.
That's
and, like,
cute.
It's cute until you hear the story and it's like, oh, it's not that cute.
But you guys are married now. You guys have 2 dogs. You guys are both living your best life.
Literally around that time, I had like 1,000 matches too. I only went on 3 dates, and like one of them
Really?
was actually the worst day I've ever been on my life. Like scary. Like I got out
I
of
don't
my
like Tinder.
like I got out of my truck at 6. I was in my truck leaving at 7. That's how bad the date was. And yeah, it was bad.
I haven't had a bad Tinder date yet.
And
I've been on like, oh, I'm gonna get killed for this one too. I've gone on 3. There was one that was like not bad, but like I just got like weird vibes. You know what I mean?
So it's a bad date. And,
No, he wasn't a bad person. I don't think our personalities matched. Because I'm a
that's
very
pretty normal.
talkative, outgoing person. He was more conservative, like to himself.
So it was opposite for me and my wife's date. But I was also so hungover, and I took my Vyvanse that morning just to try to stay up. And then we went to Topgolf, and it was the middle of the day.
Oh God.
And I was shaking, trying to drink mimosas, just trying to keep myself level while I was sweating my ass off. And
Oh God.
I would not shut up. I don't even know why she went on the date with me after that, honestly. Like,
She's like, oh, he's so cute. He just wants to talk.
no, she thought I was annoying, 100%. And like, we just kind of kept on. It was like a 9-month thing, and then finally we're like, "Are we gonna do this or what?" You know. And
Aw.
well, she actually did that to me, and I was like, okay, I guess so. That's all. Because I had just gotten out of a really long relationship, and I was like really not wanting to be tied down. Because
Yeah.
it was like, that was brutal, you know. And I was like, all right, well, I got away with it for this long. I guess we'll go on a date. Like, we'll make this for real, you know. And it was different. We have a different relationship because, you know, most of last year we didn't even live together.
Yeah. I remember that.
Even when we were dating, I'd probably see her once a week for maybe an hour because she lived 45 minutes across town. And when you're in nursing school, that's your life, you know.
Yeah.
And then I worked shift work, and then I'm very practical about things. Like, I'm not going to spend every waking minute of my days off with you because I am an adult and have things to do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same way when we got married. Like, she'd have a day off, we'd have a day off, and she'd be like, hey, you know, what do you want to do this day off? I'm like, I have stuff to do. You know, I've got a business to run. I've got to go do this, you know. And we actually share Google calendars, and that's how we've kept up. Even living together, we would share Google calendars and try to plan our days off together. And
Aw.
that way I know what she has going on, and she knows what I have going on.
See, people, you can make it work even if you're busy.
There's just a system and a process in place for everything.
I
That's how
know.
things work. How do you think these big companies run? And people look at me weird all the time when they say, like, you share Google calendars just to have a date with your wife? I go, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, if she tries to do that on a day that I might be busy, and I'm going to try to, like, make it happen to make her happy, well, then I'm going to be upset because I'm anxious or I'm trying to get something else taken care of or
Yeah.
something. Like, no, like, I need that in my schedule. I know that is our safe time. I'll turn my phone off. I will go, and like, I am hers for that time. I don't want to be there with her because we need to be together. And that's another thing too. I freaking hate this stereotype on relationships are supposed to be like this or that, or like,
Yeah.
no, relationships are supposed to be how you want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just because your idea of a perfect relationship is a date night every week and y'all spend 2 nights a week on the couch watching your favorite TV show together does not mean that I have to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I am, maybe not my wife, but like, we are happy with how we live our life. Like,
Yeah.
and she sometimes gets this in her head too of like, we need to go do this and this to like be a couple. I'm like, if we're married with 2 dogs, like, this is how we live. And like, last week we spent 2 days camping, no cell phone service, didn't really do a whole lot, didn't leave the campsite, but it was fucking beautiful. It was like,
The pictures turned out really good.
yeah, like, it was not only gorgeous, but like, we just sat and talked.
Oh.
and watched the fire burn, or she went and got more wood while I went and she didn't pack enough dog food. So I actually went and caught trout to feed the dogs.
Really?
Literally, I caught a bunch of trout so the dogs would have enough food.
Oh
But
my
like,
gosh.
it was quality time that we spent together that we would have got if we went to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And like, people have this conception that, you know, relationships are supposed to be how society or like, and it's like, no, like, what makes y'all happy at the end of the day? And like, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks.
Exactly.
And like, people have a hard time wrapping their head around, especially with the way we live our life, because we do live it a lot differently. You know, we travel a lot. We spend a lot of time apart. My wife goes on trips. I go on trips. Like, I remember one of my coworkers telling me that when I was still working in the chemical plants, like, you let your wife go to Mexico? I go, first of all, I don't let my wife do anything. She doesn't have to ask permission because I don't own her. Like,
oh, don't even get me on
like,
that. Oh God.
I don't like this idea of like, yes, like you're the man of the house and like y'all are married, but like that marriage license is a fucking contract between two people. Like, I do not own my wife. Like, that's one thing I wanted to make very clear when we got married. And when you marry into a Catholic family, you do all this premarital counseling, which I do highly suggest. Like, I was against it at first, but looking back, I'm like, it's a great opportunity to really learn some things. But like, ownership thing that some of these guys have, I don't understand it. So I'm like, that is still a person. Like, you don't own them. Like, if my wife wants to go to Mexico, I'm not gonna tell her what to do. I might say, hey, like, I don't really agree with it. Can you try to go somewhere safer? Or like, if you're gonna go do something I dislike, I will let you know. But like, I'm not gonna say you can't go do that because I said so, because I don't have authority over you.
Yeah, you're not her parent.
Not even that. Like, my parents don't have authority. I'm just saying, like, once you turn 18, you're an adult. Like, just because you're married to somebody or you're in a relationship with them doesn't give them ownership over you. And like, a lot of people lose that. You know, like, my wife goes on trips all the time without me with her friends. I'm like, I encourage it. Like, there's no reason a woman should like you and your friend have that once a month trip, right? There's no reason when you get a boyfriend that should stop, or like things should get like harder because you want to go do that, but your boyfriend's pissed off. Like, why? Like, he met you and you were doing that.
Yep. No, trust me. I've never been down that road.
Nothing is going to change. That's what a lot of people don't understand is like, those things don't change when you put a label to it. You know, I literally had a girl, our relationship lasted 7 days. 7 days. Because her words to me were, I was out with some friends and I was at a club and I'm just hanging. I mean, I was at a dance hall there in Houston. I was just hanging out. It was Wednesday. I always go on Wednesdays. I'm just hanging out with some friends of mine. And her words literally were like, you're there without me. And I was like, well, been coming here without you. Like, what's different now? She's like, well, we're dating now. You can't go to dance halls without me. I go, later. I literally broke it off right then. Like, I just gotten out of a girl prior to my wife. And I was like, I just got out of a 4-year relationship that was super controlling. I am not about to do this. And like, my mind shifted and I was like, no, like, there's no reason. Like, yes, two people change over time, but you change over time together. You don't start dating and then new rules are put in place. Like, that is not supposed to be a thing.
Yeah, I agree. Dating's so hard right now. Like, I don't understand. I don't know how to. I feel like when you're in your 20s, like, they put this, especially like a Christian, everyone around me is getting married at 20. And I was like, okay, like, that's not for me. I don't want to get married at 20 when I can't even drink at my own wedding. But I got invited to a wedding and they're, I think, 20. They just both got out of college. Yeah, they just both graduated college. He's going into the Air Force. And I'm like, holy crap. I was like, I can't imagine getting married right now. Like, I really can't. And I feel like I was pushed, like, to get married so young by my ex. I was like, I don't think I can do this.
So, believe it or not, I'm the oldest kid in my family, and I'm the only one without kids.
Really?
I'm 32. My youngest sibling, I think she's like 5 years younger than me, and she has like a 6-year-old. Like, I am the oldest without kids because I don't fucking want kids right now. Like, I want to travel, I want to live my life, and like, you know, my family all had kids at an early age, and that was great. And like, eventually I will, but like, me and my wife talk, like, we don't want to do that. You know, like, we want to see the world and then bring kids into it when we're ready.
Yeah.
You know, and like, same with her family, very religious. Like, they want us to have kids right away. I'm like, let us enjoy being married. Let us enjoy like the freedom that we have of doing what we want, you know, and like small town life, the same thing. Small town church, like, they want you to like start right away. I'm like, what you're trying to do is hold me here. And that's what I see is like, you want me to have kids and everything. And then like, my life ends. I don't say your life ends when you have kids. I understand that. But like, your new experiences change, like different types of experience. Like, everybody I know from my hometown stays in this bubble. They don't leave. They don't accept anything new, or like, they don't change. Like, my most of my friends are still having the same conversations they were when we were getting out of high school. You know, like, and that's just not for me. Like I want to. Me and my wife decided we just don't want that right now, and like plus. I don't know how I bring a kid in this world right now. Anyways, we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Oh god. If there was a mini me running around, I'd feel bad for this entire world.
Given the current state of the world and like the influencer world, what role do you think outdoor influencers play in inspiring and connecting others?
Oh, that's a hard one. I feel like there's 4 different parts to the Western, the outdoor world. I feel like there's 4 parts. You got the I'm gonna look pretty for the camera. But when it's really time to get educational, down and dirty, hands off. Then there's the ones that are down and dirty that will educate you, but won't dress up and look pretty and go CMA awards or whatever awards. So I feel like there's 2 different parts to it. That's for Western and outdoor. And I feel like the educational people, like the people who are educating, the one who are giving like advice, the ones that are showing, oh, here's some new products. This is how I like it. This is what's good for your animal. This is good for your farm. This is good for like your hunting bow, your rifle, whatever. And then there's the people who are just like, oh, look how pretty I am. It works, but I'm not going to like educate you on it. I'm just going to show you it looks pretty on whatever you're using it for. And I feel like the people who are more educated are helping others learn. And there's some people who like want to learn because they want to get into that industry. Like a lot of kids like now like want to get into ag, which is great. California is great for ag because California is the highest ranking ag in America. We feed America.
Right.
And I feel like in California especially, everyone wants to get into ag, everyone wants to get into the horses, the cattle, the swine, everything. And that's so good. But they're getting their information from the Western fashion influencers, not the actual educators.
That's the key word I was looking for there is the fashion. It's like I see a lot of aspiring fashion influencers. And I'll be honest, I thought you were going to go that route, honestly. And like, I'm not going to drop names because I know a few that I'm just like, I look at their content and yeah, they're continuously gaining followers, but like, I know they're dumber than a box of rocks. I know they have no value to bring the community. And that's where I'm kind of torn. Is like, what role do these people play, you know, moving forward? And it's like, you're right. It just depends on which influencer they are, you know, and kind of what I said earlier. I don't think a lot of these fashion and trending influencers in the Western outdoor world really realize that they're not going to be here in a few years. And I've said this for about 2 years now. It's like, you're only as relevant as the trends are. And if you're doing the trends, like, that's great, but like,
is that really going to work when you're 30, in your mid 30s or in your...
What's the long-term goal there? You know, like it's fun now when you're 20, 25, like it's great, but like, where's the long-term goal? And like these brands coming post-COVID is like, they're looking long-term, you know, like the short-term goal is great, but like I can spike sales in a month or two, but like, what's my overall year look like? Was it really worth it working with this person? What value do they bring to me, you know, other than numbers? And like people, because of the way AI is moving and like some of the other things that they're getting in place, it's like the value you bring to somebody really matters. Like what all do you bring to the table other than numbers?
Yeah, and I agree with that.
I agree with what you said earlier too. A lot more people are getting into the outdoors. I will say, like, I feel like TikTok has really opened that door because a lot of people weren't, let's be real, like people weren't getting on YouTube trying to figure out how do I go fishing. You know, like I feel like TikTok and the way those algorithms worked with the new content, you know, being fed new things, you know, that's how that's really done. You know, I think I could probably do that.
Yeah,
you know, like,
and then they get into it, and then they look it up more, and then there's like, oh, I want to do this now. And then they start educating themselves. And
then now I know people with fully built boats and stuff that never even stepped foot on the water before. You know, it's just like, I feel like there's 2 sides to it. You know, that there's people that are going to try to follow the fashion Western influencers, and they're going to realize that it sucks. It's going to fall off, or they'll be trendy, and then it'll fall off again. Or you're going to have this other side where these outdoor influencers who are bringing actual knowledge to the space is really going to educate more people to be outdoors.
Yeah.
Or more people to ride horses. You know, like there's things I've learned in the last 2 years. I'm like, I had no idea that was like that, you know, like, and I feel like TikTok really opened that door for a lot of these people who wouldn't start a YouTube channel or wouldn't go look up those channels. So I think in the future, you know, like outdoor influencers, as long as they stick to it, really have like a
good shot,
a good role to play with with upcoming youth. I don't know if you follow Arms Family Homestead. They're out of Oklahoma. They're at E-Day. Like that family is awesome, but like they do a really good job of like showing the day to day and like what they do. And like I feel like watching their content, a lot more people become inspired to do stuff similar. You know, like I honestly never thought about pretty much living out of my truck for the most part until I started seeing so many people do the van life thing. Or I had a friend of mine. She's also